do you think? Is it too moody?
That they were all of them deceived. For another ring was made.
For another room was done. Yeah, since the last time you were on, I finished the master bedroom and moved into it. And so my previous bedroom is now purely a magic office.
Nice.
So, yeah, I got to move the desk, get a little background shit going on.
That's exciting. I see the sword.
Yes, that is Anduril, Flame of the West, forged from the shards of Narsil. You know, King's Blade and all that.
Just not to brag or anything. Just
replica. It's a replica.
Yeah. Right.
The real actual one, you know, reforged by the elves in Rivendell for Aragorn, son of Arathorn, Lord and heir to Gondor.
The Uniter, the Unifier.
Elisar the Great, you know, Strider, as he's known in the North. Anyway, yeah,
Strider.
Boy, did that name Strider. Yeah, no, I can't do the voice of the innkeeper at the Prancing Pony. Unfortunately, I don't have that kind of deep register enough for that. But Wyatt, how the hell are you? It's been like a month.
God, I'm good, all things considered. How are you? I feel like we haven't gotten to talk in about a month. We haven't. As some people on social media have noticed, I've been posting a fuckload more. At least a short a day, sometimes two. Mm-hmm. Working on a longer YouTube video that I have recorded. I just need to edit. Same.
You know how it is. You know how
I do know how it is.
Yeah. But some things never change, and the cat is very upset that I came home and didn't immediately feed her dinner, even though her dinner isn't to be served for at least an hour. So,
cats, man, they have no concept of time.
They really don't. Even when the sun is still out, because everything's awful. I hate when the sun sets at like 9 p.m. Miss me with that. You're
a much more early sunset kind of.
Why can't we just have like a 7:30 sunset? Dark by 8. That feels reasonable. I don't know why in the winter the setting sun's at 5 and then the setting sun is at 9:30.
It keeps you on your toes, I guess.
Frankly, they should abolish daylight savings time. I think that would fix 90% of the problems in America right now. It's just getting rid of daylight savings time, honestly. Some other things that will aid you as an American, joining the Duels of Dorks Patreon.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/The Dungeon Bros. $5 a month gets you early ad-free access. You can join for free to submit questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, and ideas to the show. $15 a month gets your name read at some point, which I will now do. Brandon Vol.
Nailed that transition, by the way.
Indeed. Brandon, I don't know if Brandon knows this. He's funded a logo swap.
Ooh,
finally
is
heard
it time?
It's almost time. That's all I'm going to say. The next episode of the podcast, we might have a little bit more worth noting.
Ooh.
But in the meantime, we've dawdled on long enough because this is not a week where we can fuck around for 10 minutes.
This is a big week.
This is 3 major stories in a week. 3 very major stories in a week, followed by a large collection of other shit that we need to talk about.
Yes.
We're going to start with a good thing. We're going to then move into a good thing that has a very sour aftertaste, and then into all the rest of the bullshit.
First we're sour, then we're sweet, but this time we're going sweet to sour.
We're going sweet to sour to... All right, I'm about done now.
Yeah. Just like eating sweet and sour pork. You know, you start off and it's really good, and then just slowly you're like, all right, that's enough sweet and sour pork.
Dude, there was a period in my life where I was swimming competitively, and I was eating an entire sweet and sour chicken and white rice, like family size portion for dinner.
Ooh, that sounds so good, though.
Oh, I had
That's one of my go-tos right there.
Oh yeah. I would leave myself just enough for like an after school lunch the next day, and it was always fire. 100% of the time without fail. God, now I'm hungry again. All right, well.
Speaking of fire,
we got a preview panel, which we'll talk about later. We got some controversy with one of the greatest Magic artists of all time. And unionization.
I've seen a lot of people freaking out about.
We'll get into why. But before we talk about the Magic Arena team moving for unionization at Wizards of the Coast, the Duels and Dorks podcast posts every other week. You can get it for free on free feeds, Apple, Google, not Google. God, Google podcasts haven't existed in like a year and a half. Apple, YouTube Music, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast services. But there's going to be ads. God damn, there's going to be ads. If you don't want ads, though, $5 a month on the Patreon. That's all I'm going to say.
Then you get to hear the sultry tones completely ad-free.
Completely ad-free. Until we
have to do ad reads at some point.
Yeah. Well,
if we ever get them.
The promise is ad-free. So if I'm doing ad reads, the Patreon's getting fucking clean feeds.
Oh, yeah, true.
That's the promise. That's the promise.
Snip.
2 versions, man. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, give me money. Give me money. All right. Magic the Gathering Arena Unionization. This is from The Escapist, this write-up, but you can find United Wizards of the Coast, CWA. They have an entire website, unitedwizardsofthecoast.com, where you can see their own letter. You can sign the petition if you are in favor. Over 100 Wizards of the Coast employees working on Magic the Gathering Arena have formed a union called United Wizards of the Coast, partnering with the Communication Workers of America, CWA. The collective includes game designers, programmers, producers, artists, QA staff, and more. The union has some goals in mind and has already started discussing some issues staff face while working at WotC. The main issues as described in their own press release. Some of the things they want. I opened up the wrong one. I opened up the letter. God damn, I was in a flow, man. God damn.
It happens.
It does.
We're back in.
Where are the demands? Where'd they go? What is this? Here we go. Found it. So, the reasons they are organizing. I had to click like 3 links to find it. That was crazy. The big one, layoff protections. This is kind of standard in a union of any size working anywhere, wanting to not live in fear of suddenly losing their jobs with no warning through no fault of their own. Yep. Remote work protections. Wizards of the Coast is a very collaborative company, and in paper Magic design, where they need to be playtesting with playtest paper cards, it makes a little bit more sense to have a requirement to be in office. But for Arena software developers and artists and designers, not quite as much.
You could do that from home, bruh.
Their big thing is many employees were hired under the assumption that they would not be told they have to move. And so they were entirely remote workers. But now many of them are being told to return to office and are having to move because of it. And they don't want to have to do that.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Absolutely. The big one that everyone should clue into, generative AI protections. Over the past few years, pressure has ramped up from leadership to adopt generative AI tools in various aspects of work at Wizards of the Coast, often over the explicit concerns of the impacted employees. They lack a robust AI policy, leaving opportunities for abuse and communicating a level of disrespect for artists and other creatives. On previous episodes of the podcast, we've talked about the generative AI use that has happened in marketing materials for Magic the Gathering. Dungeons and Dragons has had many issues with generative AI in their products, as well as some Magic art. The last ones are a little bit more freeform and can kind of apply anywhere. Sustainable workloads, they don't want to have to deal with too much crunch, particularly given the ramping up of number of set releases that are coming out every year, right. Particularly including the Marvel sets where they have Through the Omen Paths versions, and have to create an entire duplicate set sometimes with new names, all of which with new art. They want defined career progression. There is not really a path for growth within the organization. They want to have their roles clearly defined and show what routes they can take to grow within the company, which tells me, I don't know about you, if employees are wanting to move up and progress in a company, they want to be there. This union isn't to try and get more. They're wanting to find reasons to stay,
And, probably secure purpose. No
Absolutely.
one wants to work at the same job in the same position forever. They want clear ways to progress.
Absolutely. The last two, they want more free time. Basically, again, a general union thing, more free time, less crunch, all that kind of stuff. And then finally, This is the one that I think Magic players should cue into a little bit more. We are stewards of Magic. Our employees and players care about doing the right thing with and for the game we make. Short-term, profit-driven decisions may be lucrative, but we want to focus on partnerships and products that grow our games sustainably, that inspire us as employees, that excite players, and continue to foster Wizards of the Coast's positive reputation. When they announced this, they gave them until Friday, May 1st, which was International Workers' Day, and the first day of MagicCon Las Vegas to come up with a response. Wizards of the Coast had a comment on in their Discord server for Magic Arena, effectively a non-statement of we want to support our employees and give them the best opportunities possible without explicitly acknowledging and accepting the terms of the union, which I don't think should come as a surprise to anyone. I don't think anyone should have honestly been expecting that to happen.
There's got to be like negotiations and stuff. Probably.
Absolutely. Now, I don't speak for Wyatt and I don't speak for Sam, who are oft on this show. I have a love-hate relationship with unions because you got to take it on a case-by-case basis. Unions in a lot of industries can be very, very good, particularly dangerous industries like electrical work, your line workers. They need unions to protect themselves because their job is dangerous. I am in a union at my main job, and quite frankly, I'm not a big fan of it. They haven't done a whole lot to help us. They've screwed up some of our contracts in the past for compensation. They've been on the upswing in this last contract cycle. But it's not all black and white. I think given the issues Wizards of the Coast has been having with Magic the Gathering, I think a push back from employees that actually have a lobbying arm is going to be good for the game, is going to be good for the company in the long term. Though it may hurt the quarterly growth.
I mean, it's going to be some growing pains, but personally, I'm all for a union. I think that more places should have unions. The union makes us strong. The bargaining of many is better than the bargaining of one. So
absolutely, it all depends on context, and I think given the context of this particular organization, absolutely.
And the demands aren't crazy demands.
No, this isn't like we all want double our pay. We all want to work 10-hour week. It's very reasonable. And honestly, some of these things are going to be basically free. Mm-hmm. It's not going to cost them money to define a growth path in the organization. If you are in support of this union, which I think as fans of Magic the Gathering, as lovers of the game, you should be, you can go to UnitedWizardsOfTheCoast.com. They have a petition there that anybody can sign to show support for the union. I have done so. I imagine you have as well.
Yes.
But that's the first big one. That was huge. Right before MagicCon. A week before MagicCon. Boom. Dropping the fucking hammer down on them. But we'll see. We'll update this as updates come in the weeks and months.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. They've bombed Wizards of the anyway, let's talk about MagicCon Las Vegas. I was not able to go.
you know what? I didn't see you there because I also wasn't there. So
yeah. It's some bullshit, man. It's some bullshit. I would love to go to MatchCon Atlanta. That one's a little bit closer to us, more drivable, possibly a bit cheaper. That would be fun.
Please.
I think. But I'm still going to go to Gen Con because Gen Con fucking rocks, dude. And there's more to do than just Magic stuff. So, anyway. MagicCon, the big one, the preview panel on Friday. We got some in-depth information and looks at cards from The Hobbit, Reality Fracture, and last, but interestingly, the one that's coming out next, Marvel Superhero, which we also saw the least of. But they had a good bit.
By design.
I agree. Let's talk first about The Hobbit. Because we're just gonna go in order. We're just gonna go in order of the sets they talked about.
Sounds good.
And we'll get to the cards here shortly. We'll get to the mechanic. We'll get to new mechanics shortly. But we got to address the one ring to rule them all sized elephant in this room with us right now.
Absolutely.
As part of the announcement of The Hobbit, we're going to be getting the return of box toppers for this set. In the box toppers, we're going to be getting some key. I can't speak. In the box toppers, we're going to get some key reprints from the Lord of the Rings set. These are going to be eternal legal. They are not going into standard. This is where we're going to get reprints of Sauron the Dark Lord, of Tom Bombadil, of the One Ring. Those are the three that they showed with brand new art. The Tom Bombadil and the Sauron art looks fucking sick, by the way.
Sick.
So good. Presumably, I would imagine we would get things like Delighted Halfling, Orcish Bowmasters, Legolas's Quick Reflexes, the big ones that are like the big playable cards that people want to have.
Yeah.
The issue comes with the One Ring reprint. The One Ring has new art that was credited to Dan Frazier. Now, another Magic artist, former Magic artist, I will say, Donato Giancola. He made a post on Facebook showing a very, very major issue with this new One Ring art. For some background, Donato Giancola, he backed away from doing work with Magic the Gathering about 2 years ago because of some of the sloppy artist protection in Universes Beyond products. Some of the quality control issues that have slipped through, things like your Trouble in Pairs. What was it? Was it the Wayfarer's Bauble that had plagiarized stuff in it? I think
that was it, if I remember correctly.
I think it was Lost Caverns of Ixalan.
Yes.
It was like a Wayfarer's Bauble or like an Evolving Wild, something like that.
Yep. Wayfarer's Bauble.
In a post on Facebook by Donato, the new printing of the One Ring was just flipped from the bundle print of the One Ring from the Lord of the Rings set made by Marta Nail, and then like painted out the script. Mirrored, flipped, painted out the script, and then put onto a very generic map-looking background.
Yeah.
When you see the cards side by side with the old bundle One Ring flipped, the reflections on the interior of the ring are basically a 1-to-1 match. Even though the script was painted out, you can still see highlights from where the Elvish script was on the One Ring. And this went around for about 6 to 10 hours. Donato specifically said he doubted that Dan Frazier had any real say in how this card came out. Only for Wizards of the Coast to release a joint statement with them and Dan Frazier. I'm going to read just full stop here. A message from Dan Frazier and Wizards of the Coast. Recently, fans noted the similarities between the One Ring by Marta Nail and newly released image of the One Ring by Dan Frazier. Those similarities are not coincidental, unfortunately. A second comment from Dan. From Dan. I made a mistake and I feel awful. I especially feel for Marta, whose work I adore. In trying to create an iconic version of the One Ring while looking at references online, I ended up using Marta's ring as a reference and painted over it to try to depict the item fans hold dear to their hearts. In doing so, I did not make it my own. I'm reaching out to Marta privately to apologize artist to artist. I love creating art for Magic. I've loved being a part of this artist community for more than 30 years, and I'm sorry to have let down my fans. Sincerely, Dan Frazier. And lastly, from Wizards of the Coast. Dan Frazier is a titan of the art industry and of Magic the Gathering. He has created so many iconic pieces of art for the game that he will forever be a part of our game, and we value his contributions tremendously. With that in mind, we're disappointed our review process didn't catch the issue. Like Dan, we have already reached out to apologize to Marta Nail for not catching the use of her art in this piece. None of this was intentional. We're going to put a pin in that. Put a pin in that.
Tuck that away.
But we're going to make right as much as we can. On digital versions of the card, we will credit both Dan Frazier and Marta Nail. We will also make sure Marta is compensated for her work here. This is a good moment to recognize that we are all humans who make mistakes. Dan made a mistake. We made mistakes in our process to not catch the error. We don't condone or accept either, but we still value Dan and his contributions and are grateful for his place in the game. Thank you to the eagle-eyed fans who noticed this, and for all of you for being strong advocates for this amazing art and artists. Sincerely, all of us at Wizards of the Coast. Unpin. None of this was intentional. If you look 2 paragraphs up, Dan himself says, and I quote, "While looking at references online, I ended up using Marta's ring as a reference and painted over it to try and depict the item that fans hold dear to their heart." That's tracing.
Yep.
That's just straight up
100%.
tracing. Before this statement was released, Dan Frazier's agent was trying to imply that he only did the background, and then they just kind of sloppily put the One Ring on top of it. But Dan himself said that this is what happened. He straight up copied it.
Yeah.
Wyatt, what do you, of all people for this to come from, Dan Frazier, it stings especially. What do you make of this situation?
Like, I understand, I probably understand more his thought process, because at the end of the day, it is the One Ring. The One Ring. There's only one of them. It's,
Well, except now, but we'll get to that.
Well, except now. But I'm saying, like, as far as, lots of people can have different interpretations about Shivan Dragon, or, Elish Norn, because Magic as a medium is a little bit different, but, like, I feel that he might have kind of backed himself into a corner where he couldn't be, like, the Dan Frazier that he puts forward in his art, because instead of being met with a description, they're like, we need your version of the One Ring.
Yeah.
And in his head, he's like, well, it's the One Ring. Like, how can I keep it as close to the same while still making it unique? And I'm not trying to give him a pass or anything like that. I'm just saying that when it comes to depicting Magic art, it's a lot easier to be like, draw this Magic thing in your style, versus draw this thing that is an iconic book, well, in an iconic book, in an iconic set of movies, multiples, that already has a beloved card that was the search card of the last set, and make it your own.
Yeah. Now, I want to get the obvious out of the way here.
Yeah.
This version of the One Ring art, even before any of this came out, my immediate thought was, that's what they're going for?
Cheeks.
Dan Frazier
I was
did
not a
that.
Fan. Yeah.
It's a generic, like, swirly, fractally background that anyone could slap together in Canva.
Yeah.
And then what is very obviously, based on the shading and the outline shape of the ring, like a slapdash Photoshop job.
Yeah.
The thing is, in an alternate reality, I foresee. Oh, this was a mock-up that I used Martinel's ring for because I wanted to capture, and this is an old version. Yeah. And then show a new version, or hastily make a new version and show that to be like, look, this was just an early part of the process.
Right.
I could totally see that alternate reality.
For sure. That reality fracture.
Put a pin in that.
I'm just saying, there's lots of, like, that's one thing about it that kind of bugs me at the end of the day, is people using, like, backgrounds like that for the One Ring when you have, like, the One Ring has been through so many different moments. You could have done...
Oh my god!
Like, I know that it's The Hobbit, okay, so I know that it's different than the actual Lord of the Rings series, but you could have done when it's in the snow on the mountain. Or,
oh my god,
you know, like, you could have had Smeagol mid-transformation, like, looking through it, and, like, his Gollum eye is here, and his normal eye is here. It gives it a different background. The focus is still on the ring, and I think what he should have done is probably looked more at making it almost common looking, because that's what it looks like in the Hobbit series. It really doesn't play that huge of a deal in the Hobbit itself. So he really could have, like, played it down almost, you know. And sometimes in that way, when we make things look less important, like, it'd be more something for the fans, more something for the people that know. It's like, it looks like a boring ring, you know, but we know better.
Exactly.
But
I do think that is kind of the vibe he was going for, which is why he got rid of the script on it, to make it more plain looking. But he stole it.
Yeah, and that's
and the man's like 80. Like, he probably should be about done, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just a shame that this is probably going to be how he goes out with Magic Art, because I can't imagine many more Dan Frazier pieces from him at this point.
This will for sure be a stain on the legacy that he leaves.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, but I do understand that, you know, what are you going to do?
And
you know?
that legacy he has, I think, is why he's kind of getting a slap on the wrist for this, where another artist would have 100%. Been blackballed from Wizards entirely.
Yeah. I think he was trotted out in that statement specifically because they were like,
you need to get ahead of this now.
Yeah.
And
we did not do this.
I saw Pleasant Kenobi made a video, and he thinks that Dan Frazier, like any other artist who would have done this, should be cut out, blackballed, not worked with again. I do understand that realistically, it's not quite that simple.
I foresee them not working with him again, but he'll probably still go on to, like, be in, like, a Hall of Fame of artists or something.
And frankly, he should. Like, this is not good, and he should not have done it. But this does not erase the 30 years of contribution to the game. Like, every major early Magic aesthetic is owed to him in some way.
To put it in sports terms, which I know a lot of people are really keen on sports, this is like when you found out that Mark McGwire did steroids or something. It didn't negate his entire career, but it makes you question, like, everything behind it. It's like, when did the steroids start? You know?
Yeah. It's like, I find it a bit more akin to, like, Pete Rose, the Reds baseball player, who was fucking dominant and then got blackballed from everything baseball because he was gambling on Reds games that he was a part of.
There you go. That's a better example.
I don't know. I think time... I also don't think they're going to be working with him again. I can imagine he's not going to have another, like, all right, let's do a Dan Frazier Secret Lair, you know?
It's a bit of a sour note to go out on, but a note to go out on nonetheless.
Indeed. All right, let's talk about the Hobbit cards, because I'm excited. So
I was going to say, I got to get your thoughts on the Smaug.
I have many thoughts. So thought number one, we're going to get several versions of Bilbo yet again at different rarities, which has been kind of common for more recent Universes Beyond things. The return of Wood Elves, which is very appropriate. Thematic, printed at common, standard legal, pretty awesome. Adventures are returning because, as Bilbo says, we're going on an adventure. Indeed. Riddles in the Dark is a really cool 3-mana instant speed factor fiction style effect. Big fan.
Yep.
We'll get to the Arkenstone in My Precious here shortly. But Smaug. Some interesting things about Smaug. It is a much more balanced big bad dragon that makes you treasures and wants you to have treasures.
Yep.
Lives in a little bit of an awkward spot where it wants you to hold on to the treasures and not really use them unless you absolutely have to, which is a bit strange. One of the alternate frames is the Dragon's Horde frame, which I think is the best version of Smaug, in my opinion, which is contentious because Smaug has a very, very fancy, gold, book cover style. And I think, though cool...
Isn't he the chase?
He is the headline card, is Smaug.
Yeah.
Now...
aren't they doing, the 1-of-1 thing again, sort of?
No, they are not. No, they are not. This is what we're going to talk about here. In the write-up on magic.wizards.com, they talk about the early look collector information. Mm-hmm. Smaug will not be serialized, but they're only printing that gold rules textless Smaug around 500 times.
Ooh.
Not even, which is really weird because at that point, why not make it a serialized out of 500?
Yeah, you absolutely
chase.
Should.
I feel like there's some weird things going on there with the Tolkien estate and how the 1-of-1 ring went with that serialization and the prices of the product and availability.
I was going to say, some people also probably thought it was pretty predatory to just do the 1-of-1 where it's
yeah.
You're really incentivizing people to go out and buy as much product as they possibly can on the off chance that they might pull the 1-of-1 ring. So I could see that.
I could see it. I think they mitigated that a fair bit with all the Dwarven and the Elvish language soul rings.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was still plenty of stuff to get, but I feel like you can't deny that a driving factor in the last Lord of the Rings set was the fact that there was a 1-of-1 ring.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. So Smaug's cool. I think it's good. It's fairly well costed. 4-mana, 4/3 flying haste. It makes you a treasure every turn if it survives. It deals extra damage on how many treasures you got. Pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty sick.
We also are getting a second variant to art style, which is the book cover variant. We see the Arkenstone and then Thorin Mountain King. Thorin's a pretty fine equipment legend. Mono red, skirts around equip costs. He's got trample. He's a great body to hold a bunch of equipment. It's a fun card. The book cover I think is really cool, but it just doesn't look that much like a Magic card to me, which is always kind of a struggle. That's why I like things like the Dragon Horde frame.
Right.
That is still very clearly a Magic card.
Yes.
But let's talk about the two big items from The Hobbit, the Arkenstone and My Precious, which is a second interpretation of the One Ring. The Arkenstone and My Precious both have adventures on them. The Arkenstone particularly cool because the adventure is a 3-mana tutor for a legendary creature, which means if you have the Arkenstone, you can use it to find Thorin. And then when you have Thorin, you can cast the Arkenstone, giving your creatures +1/+1 and giving you an extra draw every turn.
Yep.
Pretty solid artifact. Having a solid creature buffing, card drawing artifact on with an extra tutor before you can cast it, pretty good. The My Precious is a legendary artifact equipment with the adventure Allure of Power. 2-mana instant speed. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. Oozing with theme.
Yes, just
Gollum, when Smeagol had acquired the ring, he had to kill a person, Deagle, to take the ring from him. His friend Deagle, he had to kill him to get the ring. So sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. Very normal effect in black. Very normal rate for this in black. And then you can get a 3 mana equipment that gives the equipped creature hexproof and cannot be blocked. And then to equip it, you pay 2 and pay 2 life as well. Also very thematic. I like that the power of it is much more toned down and much more depicting the very early life of the ring post-discovery with Smeagol. Yes. The ring in the hands of Smeagol is much lower power, much standard format level power, if you will, compared to the ring in the hands of Sauron, Frodo, get someone else, like in the Tales of Middle-earth.
Right. I was about to bring up, I think that another thing that's kind of tampering this, like you brought up Smaug maybe not being as powerful as he could have been, I think the fact that it is a standard set does kind of make them want to, you know, pull back a little bit on the Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings had a lot of very powerful stuff in it.
Oh, yeah. Staples.
But it was a modern set versus a standard set, so...
Yeah.
I see their dilemma.
It's tough. I think having more... How do I say this without sounding like a chud? There are merits to every set being standard legal.
Yes.
I think the flattening out of power level across sets has been a net positive. And you can still allow yourself a spike with a Modern Horizons 4, with a powerful Commander deck series like we got with Secrets of Strixhaven. So you can still get those power spike cards, but in a standard environment, making things just generally more playable and not like best in class have to use for the most part.
I was about to say, one thing I did feel about the original Lord of the Rings set, it was very like sink or swim. Like, you were either going to get something that was just absolutely a bomb, or you were going to get something like stern scolding or something like that, like a nothing burger.
Yeah. It was very feast and famine in Tales of Middle-earth, and there was a lot of feasting happening. A lot of low-key hit...
I'm not saying that it didn't have good stuff in it.
There's a lot of low-key, really good shit that people don't play nearly enough of from Lord of the Rings,
Not enough,
I think.
Yes, absolutely.
My brain immediately goes to the mono-white Boromir that can sacrifice itself and protect your board, for example. Not a lot of people play that. It's a good card. The last few things I'll mention about The Hobbit, it seems stealing cards from your opponents is going to be a mechanic, at least on Bilbo. I would imagine there are some other theft-based cards that are going to show up. We are getting some Dwarven language reprints that are going to be presumably box toppers, eternal legal, not standard legal. They showed us an arcane signet that was all dwarf language. I thought it looked pretty sweet.
Magda will love that.
True. 2 series of full art basic lands. One depicting going on an adventure with the Thorin's company. And then one of them, a full art series of seasonal basic lands. They showed us 4 different planes that showed Bag End in Hobbiton in all 4 seasons of the year. Very similar to what we got with the Bloomborough full art basics.
And it looked so good.
They look
so good.
They all look good, I think. But the big one here, not a single commander deck to be had.
Uh-oh.
Not a single one. Not a single one. I think it's especially weird because there's at least 3 very obviously defined, unique pre-con designs they could have gone for here. Mm-hmm. A Bilbo Theft deck.
Of course. Yeah.
Give a classic theft. Give us a Smaug bad guys, make treasures, hoarding, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And then give me like a red-green dwarf typal deck. Give some dwarf support.
Dwarfs with the party mechanic? Are you kidding me? Thorin Oakenshield's party?
You could get awesome, unique cards for all of the dwarves. Magda would be fucking drooling, frothing at the mouth even.
Yeah, give me.
Just all of them?
You know what's a card they haven't revealed yet, but I'm super looking forward to if they do? Smash the Plates.
That's kind of in the Unexpected Party. Unexpected. It shows it, or they showed the art. They showed the art of smashing the plates, but they didn't show the card for it. So I think that will be a thing. That one's a good bit.
I wonder if they're gonna do the far over. You know, the Misty Mountain.
Oh, I hope so. The last thing worth noting here. Actually, last two things worth noting. Timeout.
I really have to go.
I'm so sorry. All right, I'm going to wrap this up on my own here, friends.
Yep, I'm so sorry to have to dip out on you like
that.
My
precious, my loves. I understand. Family comes first. Thank you, sir.
Yep, no problem. Do I just hang up or do I stay on? Will you finish or?
I'm gonna stop and then I'm leaving all this in. I'm gonna stop.
Okay, perfect.
And I'm gonna start again. Okay. Say bye to the people.
Good. Goodbye. Adios.
We got them for the important stuff, right? And that's what matters. The last bit for The Hobbit, which is where we left off. If you are going to Gen Con in Indianapolis, you're going to get a pre-release. They have pre-release events going on the weekend before your local game store's pre-release, so you can get early access. They're going to have a promo of the Trolls available at Gen Con as well. The specifics of how to get that are not yet clear. We also have scene boxes. 2 of them are going to come out with the release of the set, with a third one that is a bigger scene box that is going to come out later in 2026. That is where we're going to end our discussion of The Hobbit. Now we got to talk about Reality Fracture, which is... I wish I could get some input from the boys on this one, because this is a fucking banger. As predicted on a previous episode of the Duels of Mana Dorks podcast, you can check the tape. Every single pack of Reality Fracture is going to include 2 alternate versions, one in universe, one out of universe in the Echoverse that Jace has created, version of the same character in every single pack. The character is not going to be same from pack to pack. It might be a Chandra in one. It might be an Ajani in another. It might be a more minor character in another. But you are going to have 2 versions of the same character from each reality. In the case of Chandra, we're going to get Chandra Torch of Defiance and then Chandra Chill of Defiance. If you open one in a pack, you are guaranteed the other one in the pack. Makes the comment that they had of it's abundantly clear from the moment that you open this pack that this set is different, make a lot more sense, if you will. I think that's a really cool collation thing they're going to be doing with the printing of the cards. Very, very exciting. We're going to be getting functional reprints that are color/character shifted, pointing at the Stingcaster Mage, which is a red shifted version of Snapcaster Mage. Instead of Flash, it has haste, but it has the same enters ability where target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gets flashback until end of turn, where flashback is its cost. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. That said, Stingcaster, what's that? Well, one of the Strixhaven equivalents in this Echoverse called Hexhaven, where we're going to be getting the allied color paired versions of the Strixhaven colleges that have different interesting designs. They didn't get too much in the specifics of it, but we do know that they're all ally color. We have gotten all their names as well. Chef's kiss. Tam, you may know from the Strixhaven set and the Lorwyn set, where they were previewing the little Strixhaven gang. Tam, she's a crafty little devil. She's been working for Jace the whole time. Just saying. It's pretty dope. I can't wait to see what the Jace card is. Speaking of, we are getting a Jace Commander deck. It is a white, blue, red, black Commander deck. 4 colors. Don't really know what the mechanics of it are going to be, but it seems like it's going to be a freaking doozy. And if the Strixhaven Commander decks are anything... well, It's going to be a freaking powerhouse. I'm excited. The last thing, which is a bit of a mystery they left us on with the Reality Fracture stuff, was a product called a Secret Lair Bundle, which is going to release after the set has fully released. And they didn't really give us any information other than the name of it being a Secret Lair Bundle. Couldn't tell you what that is. Probably going to get some cool Secret Lair arts that are Echoverse versions of characters that maybe are very similar to their in-universe versions. We don't know, but we'll see. We will see. The last set they talked about was Marvel's Superheroes. They gave us the Vision designs. It was a whole bit. They talked about 2 cards that were the Vision and then talked about the Mind Stone as well. They brought on Paul Bettany, who's the actor who plays the Vision in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to talk about the 2 Vision cards. One of them is the main set Vision, and then the other one is a commander deck version of the Vision. Both of them are pretty decent, not anything crazy, but they were doing a lot of Vision bits. The big juicy thing here is the Mind Stone, which is why they were talking about the Vision. In the lore, Vision has the Mind Stone in his forehead, particularly in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is a very important plot point to the big Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame stories in the movies. The Mind Stone, much like Soul Stone, which is not the Soul Stone, it's simply Soul Stone. They had to call it the Mind Stone because of the mana rock that already existed in Magic called Mind Stone. They couldn't have the same name. The Mind Stone is 1 and a white legendary artifact, Infinity Stone. It has indestructible. It taps for white, exactly the same as the Soul Stone. It has 5. You can pay 5 in white, tap it to harness the Mind Stone. Once it is harnessed, you have access to this infinity ability for as long as you control that permanent. The infinity ability says, at the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Yet again, we have another Infinity Stone that is a best-in-class 2-mana rock if you are in white. If you have a commander deck and you have white, you probably want the Mind Stone. Much like if you are a commander deck where you are in black, you want the Soul Stone. Very thematic with the harness ability. This is effectively blinking a creature. Flickering is a very white-based mechanic. You see some of it in blue, but it is predominantly in white. Much like the Soul Stone, which was a reanimation ability, very predominant in black. I think it's going to be cool. I don't know, man. I struggle to muster up a care about the Marvel superhero set. It feels kind of aimless. It's just like, here's a bunch of characters doing some cool stuff, which, you know, it's not the end of the world. There's going to be some really good cards in it. I think the Mind Stone is a great chase. Much like the Soul Stone, we're getting 2 art variants of the Mind Stone in collector packs. One of them is Thanos holding the gauntlet. It is the same art as the Soul Stone, except the Soul Stone is taken out of the art and the Mind Stone is put in. And then the textless Mind Stone is the big value chase that you can get in collector packs as well. That's really all we got from MagicCon in the preview panel. Some quick wrap-up items. Magic the Gathering, Wizards_Magic on Twitter, said that Strixhaven is officially the best-selling pre-release since War of the Spark, which I think is pretty cool. It's in-universe. People were very hyped for it. Mystical Archives is amazing. The original Strixhaven was great. The value is there. People crave their in-universe Magic the Gathering. I'm telling you. I'm telling you now. In-universe Magic the Gathering is what really drives people to go to these pre-release events, to engage with the game over the long term. And hopefully, them making this post is them acknowledging that to the people, to the player base, and maybe a little bit of a hint of like, hey, we get it. We're going to make sure that these are done right for you at the very least. Fingers crossed, we'll see in 2 to 5 years when these sets that they're designing now come out. Heroes of the Realm. We have a new Heroes of the Realm card. For those of you that don't know, Heroes of the Realm is a incentive program for employees at Wizards of the Coast where a special individual one-of-one card is designed specifically for an employee at Wizards of the Coast as kind of a reward for that employee. Usually, it is done as like a thank you for doing great work on this set. Yeah. Sorry, I'm typing. I'm trying to pull up the new Heroes of the Realm card featuring Mr. Monopoly because I didn't link it. And that's on me. I'm a big fan personally of the Ormakar Relic Wraith, which is a Dimir Heroes of the Realm Wraith card for Lord of the Rings, which is pretty cool. You get to have a legendary artifact as like a My Precious in the command zone. It's pretty sick. Anyway, Mr. Monopoly on the go. 3 and a red for a legendary Planeswalker Monopoly. It's got 4 loyalty abilities and 5 starting loyalty. And it's a doozy. For 0, you roll a 6-sided dice and you put that many loyalty counters on Mr. Monopoly equal to the result. Pretty easy. -2, Heist. Exile the top 2 cards of target opponent's library. Until end of turn, you may play those cards and mana of any type can be spent to cast them. Very fun. -4, Shut Down. Destroy target artifact. And then the last one, -40. Yes, -40. Pass go, create 200 treasures. It's very, very thematic. It's very thematic. Heroes of the Realm is fun. It was for Dave Mokia. His name is printed on the bottom of the card because it was for him. It was to commemorate his work at Wizards of the Coast on Monopoly Go, specifically. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Heroes of the Realm cards are fun. If you can make a Rule 0 commander, then just have some fun with it. They can be powerful, or you can make them just like goofy and fun. I would recommend the goofy and fun route if I were you. Also at MagicCon Las Vegas, Mark Rosewater announced a new non-Magic product. Mood Swings, introducing Mood Swings, where he has developed his own game, his own card game as a love letter to tabletop card games, trading card games. Magic is amazing. And he says it can be complicated. And Mood Swings is his attempt at making a simpler trading card game that you can play. When you buy a Mood Swings game, you get a box of 45 cards. You'll have everything you need to play the game right out of the box. It's a light strategy game for 2 to 4 people. He has a video that explains how to play it. A 2-person game can take 5 to 10 minutes. Mood Swings has all the things that he loves about trading card games. Fun card interactions, adaptability, collecting, and trading, but in the style of a traditional card game, something you can buy off the shelf and play immediately. While there is no deck building, it is still a trading card game, which means each deck is not the same. You will get 45 cards, 23 common, 14 uncommon, 6 rares, and 2 mythic rare cards, all randomized. If you go to a friend's house and play their copy of Mood Swings, the cards won't all be the same. You'll recognize some of the cards, but others you will not. The game, as Magic's creator Richard Garfield likes to describe trading cards games, is, quote, bigger than the box, meaning each game uses some of the pieces, but not all of them. On June 1st, you'll be able to get your own box of Mood Swings on the Magic Secret Lair website. And he also was hoping to have some for MagicCon Las Vegas, but there were shipping delays. Because of course there were. In total, Mood Swing has 133 cards, 48 commons, 40 uncommons, 30 rares, and 15 mythics. Each copy of Mood Swings will include 45 of those cards. The game uses Magic's 5's colors. The art on the cards are all sketches from published Magic art, but the cards each represent an emotion or mood. If you go to his blog, listen to him on his podcast, he's got way more to go into in depth with Mood Swings. It looks fun. Don't know if I'm going to partake. It's hard enough knowing all of Magic. I don't know if I need to learn another one, even if it is pretty simple. But check it out. Eternal Weekend returns this winter and fall. Eternal Weekend in 2026. It is a tournament for Legacy and Vintage, hosted by several organizations. In the United States, it's going to be hosted by Pastime, October 29th to November 1st in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Four Seasons will be hosting the Lucca, Italy iteration from December 3rd to 6th. And then from December 5th to 6th in Ikebukuro, Tokyo, Japan, it will be hosted by Hareyuya. You can play in a Legacy or Vintage tournament there. If you place in the top 32 finishers of the Legacy Championship, you're going to receive a non-foil retro frame Life from the Loam promo card with art by Hristo G. Chukov, and then the top 8 will get a foil version. If you place in the top 32 finishers of the Vintage Championship, you receive a non-foil retro frame version of Treasure Cruise with new art by Ralph Horsley, and the top 8 players will receive a traditional foil copy of that promo as well. Check it out if you're interested. I am scared of Legacy and Vintage, A, because of the cost, and B, because 60 card 1v1 formats frighten me. I like my 1v1 limited, personally. I'm scared to spend that much money on a deck and then get my ass handed to me, which would happen. It would absolutely happen. And last, Secret Lair drop, June 15th. Cats Are Best Secret Lair. A lot of these cards were shown at MagicCon Las Vegas. We're getting Sheltered by Ghosts, Dark Ritual, Court of Grace, Aggravated Assault, All-Seeing Toby, which is a skinned version of Sovereign Okanek Ahau, and then Time Stretch as well. The Dark Ritual is featuring Garfield, but there's other Garfield art in the promotional material, so there's probably more. This is, of course, just some of the cards that are going to be included in the Super Drop. There will be more revealed as we get closer. And that, my friends, is all the news. Freaking rapid fire through this shit because there was a lot that needed to be covered. And unfortunately, we took too long talking about the juicy bits with Wyatt, so we had to let him leave, which is sad. In the near future, my schedule will make it more likely for us to be able to record earlier in the day and thus be able to keep Wyatt on for longer. Maybe we can get Sam, get a little triumvirate going again. I think that would be fun. There's going to be a lot of big things happening with the Dungeon Bros soon. Duels of Mana Dorks is still going to be around. We're going to be doing some rebranding, I think. We talked a little bit at the top about a new logo. It's going to be good. I'm excited. But that's for now. Or not for now. That's not for now. That's for later. With all that being said, we love you very much. And as always, goodbye.